Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and I just survived a modern horror. No, not watching Spectre, which was terrible, but no internet for like 9 hours. I mean, I had my data on my phone, of course, but that's not the internet of kings like home internet is. so, um, but anyway, I just finished watching Spectre. I mean, I was almost done like 9 hours ago, and then I couldn't get any good streaming video, so I just got the internet back up and I fixed it. And it's a funny thing because, like I had said in my Quantum of Solace, I hadn't really seen that movie properly. I was all doped up on sleeping pills on an international flight, and I had this intense hatred from it, from just a partial foggy memory. And then I saw it, and it was pretty solid. Spectre, I distinctly remember being very pissed off during most of the movie and especially leaving, but I had no memories of it, almost at all. I remembered them blowing up some complex very, very easily. I remembered, I didn't remember the whole beginning part of Mexico. I remember the ski chalet clinic. That was it. That was it. And then one of the things I do when I do videos is, I'm looking for a good, clear image for a thumbnail. And that's one of the best ways to gauge how actually popular something is. There'll be tons of screenshots and thumbnails from all different parts of a movie. People actually like it. Oh my gosh, you look at Spectre, you find the same three boring photos. So actually I had to search for this thumbnail for a while. But anyway, Spectre is the fourth of the Daniel Craig movies, and it is so much worse than I remember. Or yeah, I don't remember. Hey, that was the title of my last one. So Spectre is, how would I describe this? The funny thing is, there's a lot of like meta commentary on the movie, in the movie, that I don't think they realized. Like the first scene has James Bond in a wildly careening helicopter in Mexico City, and it's just about to crash and kill tons of people. And then somehow miraculously he survives, but it doesn't feel like a victory because he was so not incompetent, just didn't care. He seemed to not even care if he lived or died, or if he wanted to stop the bad guy. I mean, he didn't seem to care about anyone in the crowd below, the audience, and that's a pretty good symbolism for this. So it starts off with a pretty good action scene that made me very consciously hate the hero. James Bond is probably, you've never seen a hero, and I know sometimes he's an anti-hero, but like I said in my Spectre review, of Skyfall review, my interpretation of Skyfall was to make it clear that he was a hero. He wasn't just a psychopath with a license to kill. So when he's so blithely endangering people and just doesn't seem to care, and just does a little flippant remark to M. You know how usually when James Bond's getting yelled at by M, whichever the M is, you're like, man, that sucks. I've had a boss yell at me. Like, I was totally on M's side. Like, yeah, you're completely irresponsible. This is all over the news. Like, you're going to get the program shut down, which is basically what he does. Now, the thing is, like I said, I remembered absolutely hating this movie. And I don't really know anyone who defends it that much. But for the first hour, it's honestly not that bad. The Mexico City scene is, like I said, I don't like James Bond. He's very irresponsible, but it's a cool scene. And then we get some stuff in London, and we start to build a plot. And there's even actually one of my favorite scenes from all the James Bond movies. At one point, James Bond manipulates basically M or Moneypenny to come to his apartment at night, and it's like barely any furniture and a bunch of boxes on the ground, and she's like, "Oh, did you just move in?" He's like, "No." And that tells a lot about he doesn't really have much life outside of work. That was very, very well done. And then they're investigating Spectre, and then like an hour in, this whole freaking movie just disassembles. It just slaughters itself. Okay, so you know how they had Le Chiffre in the first one, and then they had Silva, or no, they had Green in the second one, and then Silva in the third one. Guess what? It was the plan of his stepbrother. Because I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. James Bond's parents were killed. He was taken in by a German family. The German dad, to help James Bond with his trauma, took him on essentially a bunch of camping trips, to which his brother, Franz Oberhauser, got jealous and killed James Bond's adopted dad. That's the plot. And then he built up Spectre, and then his whole plan for everything was to get revenge on his brother for going on his stepbrother for going on camping trips with his dad. Not even making that up at all. It just gets bad so fast. So they get a ring with the Spectre insignia. So in one of the most ridiculous, do you remember the scene from Austin Powers where they're making the funny point that a good guy can get a bad guy to confess by just asking him the same thing 3 times? You know, where is he? Where is Dr. Evil? I won't tell you. He finds the widow of the man he killed in Mexico City, and then they have a love scene where she immediately answers every single one of his questions. Now, yes, you could say it was a plant and she was supposed to do that, but you don't see her again. If unless I'm misremembering, she's just kind of gone. So it just comes off as terrible writing. Then he goes to this secret organization that is, again, right there. Like, you just park on the street and then walk 20 feet up and basically show a ring to a guy he lets you in. They're then saying all of their private, business dealings. But then in the classic bad writing thing, oh, Blofeld wanted you to hear all of their secret business dealings. And then he just jumps out of a window. Oh, God. So then the love interest ends up being the daughter of a really minor character from Quantum of Solace, who, like, really minor. I think that character might have also been in Casino Royale. I haven't seen Casino Royale in 13 years. But, like, I'm saying, a really minor character. So then we have this big heartfelt connection between them. This wasn't a main bad guy or even like an enforcer he had a fight with. It was just some kind of like fixer character. So then that guy kills himself and says, like, find my daughter. And then we meet the daughter, and this is supposed to be like, I don't know, the person James Bond settles down with. I don't remember her name, but I will say she's an okay actress, but she looks like a kid. Like, she literally looks like she's still growing. You know how when you're growing up and you kind of, you don't just grow proportionally. You'll get really tall and then be skinny. And then, like, you know what I'm saying? Your features kind of catch up to each other. Like, she has, like, a kind of like a young adult face. But then she's got, like, these stubby arms and stubby body. It's like, I don't think you're done growing yet. And not exactly a very scintillating effort. I mean, she's kind of playing it correctly. She's on the run her whole life, and her father just killed himself. So she's pretty dour, but not anything exciting. So then we got Bond on the run, Bond not supported, a 00 program being replaced by this ridiculous Nine Eyes program where 9 different countries are going to share all of their intelligence feeds with each other. What? No, nobody would ever do that. You're going to share some stuff, not everything, which is obviously, connected to Spectre. And then we just get into, it just gets, I mean, the idea that all of this revolves around a guy becoming a supervillain because he's jealous that his dad took his new stepbrother on a lot of camping trips is freaking pathetic. Daniel Craig looks utterly bored. A lot of these scenes make absolutely no sense. Or there's a scene where he's chasing vehicles with a plane and, like, crashes a plane on purpose that chops the wings off. This is like a Roger Moore action sequence. Like, the thing is, I mentally checked out of this movie like 4 different times. First, when James Bond was very non-heroic and just risking all these people in the crowd. The second one, when he just gets into Spectre so easily and they're just talking about their plans. And then, like, there was a scene at a chalet clinic that was actually okay-ish. But oh god, it's just so bad. The romance was bad. The magic. Oh, this guy will hack the thing. Oh he did it. The funny thing is they even did like the last minute hack sword to save the day, and they didn't even like have the music swell or do any dramatic. He was literally just like, I did it. I'm done. Like this whole thing is every single part of this feels like a contractual obligation. Like nobody seems excited to be. Maybe like Q. Q and Moneypenny are actually pretty darn good. Um, I know they're getting this horrible like sullen-eyed, arrogant. She's not a replacement. But she's the new 007. But she's not the lead character. But honestly, yeah, Moneypenny and Q are quite good. The new M is pretty good, not as good as the old one. But man, this movie is awful. Oh gosh. So then, jeez. So then, like I said, Blofeld is ridiculous. He's a complete clown that nobody would respect or follow, and they never really establish why he's that powerful or scary. He doesn't seem he's not threatening at all. He's like teeny tiny with like little narrow shoulders, and like his soft voice, and it's not believable. So then he's torturing James Bond, and then James Bond has an explosive watch. Why didn't they search him? Whatever. And then he hands it to the girl. They throw it. It blows up below Blofeld. That's difficult to say. Then they run out. He shoots like 10 people, some of which who are like 300 meters away, shooting them with iron sights. He kills every single person in this complex. He then shoots like a valve for some kind of compressed gas or something like that. It then blows up the entire complex. The whole thing. The entire complex of Blofeld is destroyed by one explosive watch that is effectively a distraction. One guy with one rifle who kills basically half the guards in like 1 minute. And then he shoots a valve and that blows up the entire thing. But of course, Blofeld's still alive. So if you watched my review of Skyfall, I said there's like this 30 minutes at the end that's not really necessary. It's like Home Alone. Oh my gosh. This is like something out of the Adam West Batman. Guess what? Blofeld's fine and he still has all his capabilities and he's back in London. Oh, and he broke into the old MI6 area and he spray painted James Bond's name and like arrows and has his not really girlfriend, but they treat it like that's the love of his life. Tied up with like Cat 5 cables with like hints you'll never get to her in time, James. Oh gosh, I forgot the worst part. So James Bond escapes. Blofeld doesn't check. Blofeld seems to be a character from an Austin Powers movie. He doesn't check that James Bond's dead. He also just hovers right in front of the old MI6 headquarters, which is also right in front of I think it's called CNS or something like that, like the replacement. Or no, it's MI5 and some other thing. He just hovers right. You don't get to be like a non-approved helicopter just hovering over the Thames right across the street from intelligence. But nobody stops him. So then James Bond gets out in a freaking vehicle. Now, I kind of forgot how stupid this was. So I was like, he's probably got something like it's like a harpoon gun and it's going to go up and it's going to like catch the skids on the helicopter. No. Oh gosh, this is so stupid. He's driving a motorboat on the Thames, however you say it. Blofeld is about 100 meters up, about 300 meters in front of him. Steadily, they're matching speed. James Bond takes out a pistol, fires a couple times. It doesn't work. He then holsters his pistol and takes out another smaller pistol, aims, hits the engine, shoots. I don't even think you need to be any kind of a firearms expert or have any kind of familiarity with firearms to know this is completely ridiculous. So then he crashes on a bridge. Oh god, I'm just gonna stop. It's the stupidest. It's awful. It's so freaking awful, and I totally understand why 5 years are going to go in between the sequel. Because why would Daniel Craig want to go back to this? This is probably a year of his life with all the, the rehearsals and the fittings and the planning and the ADR afterwards. And what is it? He's like, what am I doing? Oh, you're shooting at a helicopter with a pistol. That doesn't make any sense. No, 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 no. Yeah, I know you're like 52 and you're like, yeah, no, no, just shoot. Oh, pull another smaller pistol out. Why does Blofeld want to kill me? His dad. Here's the funny thing. The dad took both of them on these trips. There's several really poorly done photoshops of these characters as kids with the dad. Like it literally looks like one, those old paintings from like the 1800s where they would color them and like put blush on people's cheeks. That's what it looks like. It looks like it's from the freaking. Also, they get all the age is weird. Like they keep saying like I killed my father 20 years ago, but it's like that German guy Christoph something. Waltz, Christoph Waltz. He's like pushing 60. So you killed your dad when you were like 39? Because they keep implying it was when you're a kid. Are they implying that James Bond and Blofeld are like 40? Because they're between 50. I don't know. Nothing matters. Instead of shooting the helicopter from the Thames from the boat to the Thames, he should have shot the bullet from the Thames to Africa and then hit that valve, and then he wouldn't have had to take the train. Guns are dangerous and they should be outlawed. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm not sure what movie or TV show I'm gonna review next. Bye.